Hey, what's up, my Dokus? Jason, and welcome you back to the bonus video of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. It's taken a long road, but boy, kind of feels good to be here somewhat. This is where we're going to discuss things that I have not talked about throughout the entire series, as well as things I just haven't shown off. To be honest, there really isn't much to talk about. There's just more to show off, because I basically talked about everything about these games to death. So let's go ahead and get started here. Actually, we're gonna start right here on the selection screen, because every time we've chosen a game, there have been three things haunting us. These are the soundtracks for each game. And you can actually see how long it would take to listen to all of the tracks. So like 64 has 36 tracks, so it would take like 49 minutes. 50 Sunshine has 58, which would take an hour and 11 minutes, and then Galaxy has 81, which would take around 2 hours. But you can just kind of go in here and just look through all of these tracks, choosing whichever ones you want. Doesn't really matter which ones you choose. I guess that one's called Flood Theft, which is like when he gets stolen in a game. I guess these are labeled as movies because they're like ones that are made for the like cutscenes. So I guess that's why they're labeled movies. And then you have the same ones, or you have the same kind of things right here. Just a whole bunch of tracks to choose from. You can listen to them whenever you want. Are they worth, $60? No. But they're still a nice addition. But other than that, there really isn't all that much to them. Let's go ahead and head back into the games and see what we've missed out on. So let's start with Super Mario 64.
It's me, Mario. Hello. Okie dokie.
So, there actually isn't any new additions, really, to 64 that I haven't already discussed. There is only one thing you can do after beating the game, and it's really more just getting the 120th star, because technically speaking, the last place you save is technically before the final boss, so it acts like the final boss didn't really happen. But once you get 120 stars, this cannon here that was originally locked up is now not locked up. So let's go ahead and blast ourselves up to the top of the castle, which is something you can't, normally do. And what will we find back here? 3 1-ups, as well as an old friend. We have Yoshi. He actually appeared here. Mario, is that really you? It has been so long since our last adventure. They told me that I might see you if I waited here, but I'd just about given up hope. Is it true? Have you really beaten Bowser? And restored the stars to the castle? And saved the princess? I knew you could do it. Now I have a very special message for you. Thanks for playing Super Mario 64. This is the end of the game, but not the end of the fun. We want you to keep on playing, so we have a little something for you. We hope you like it. Enjoy the Super Mario 64 team. Yep, and they give us... literally, they will give us max lives. So, if you ever wanted to see the max number of lives that you can get in this game, well, there it is. 100. And Yoshi jumps off, never to be seen again. But, with that, we can also get the wing cap out here, which is kind of cool. So we can do some flying around, seeing things, which is nice. But other than that, that's it. That's everything in 64. Being an older game, I guess they didn't have much of stuff to show off. But then again, there isn't really much else to show off in other games as well. But yeah, I guess with that, nothing else. Let's go ahead and move on to Super Mario Sunshine. So one of the things I never showed off was actually this unique cutscene here when you open up the game that happens after you beat beat the Flood, I guess. After the flood happens, you get that unique one, and then there's no more cutscenes that happen with like Noki Bay or any other ones. It's just those. So what is there exactly left in Super Mario Sunshine? Well, there's some things that, you know, I never showed off, but there's also some speedrun strats that I promised I would show off because of the fact that I was doing the levels the intended way. So, first things first, let's go ahead and talk to this guy. Hey, Sunshades alone won't cut it for you. Nope. You also need one of my custom tropical shirts. Here you go. Oh my. I haven't seen anyone look that good in my gear in ages. Come see me again when you want to return them, okay? Yep, so basically around, you know, before you 100% the game and get all 120 shine sprites, this guy would actually just give you a pair of sunglasses you could use to kind of just dim the light. But from 100%ing, we actually get a cool outfit or a cool little jacket that has shine sprites on it, which I think is kind of a cool little extra. It's a nice thing that you get for completing it, and I mean, we can all say that Sunshine's 100% completion rewards aren't exactly all that fancy because, you know, you literally get a postcard at the end of the game. That's literally what makes the difference. I want to put an image up here of if you just beat the game without 120 shine sprites, you'll actually get a different image at the end. And this image is El Piantissimo with the brush. It doesn't insinuate anything, but honestly, I feel like maybe they intended for like a sequel to happen, but because of sales, maybe Sunshine. I don't think Sunshine performed all that well. I could be wrong, but maybe they like intended for a sequel, and then just the game didn't make enough money, so they decided to scrap it. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started here with some skips. I think I've shown off most of the ones I wanted to show for the most part, but there is one big elephant in the room. And that one being the, one we know as Gelato Beach Skip, GBS. So I think I'm going to go ahead and show it off for you guys. It's kind of complicated. It's simple to I guess, set up, but it can be challenging to perform, just because sometimes the game just doesn't like to register it, at least in my opinion. You also need to have visual cues, which I don't even do that. My visual cue is literally just Mario glitching. It's not actually like some people use Pinup Park as a visual cue, but I don't do that. Anyway, what we do is come over here, drop the coconut. You need to have the coconut, because that's the type of collision you need. That's the only one that will slide down the thing. But then you need to grab onto this, point your camera back, center your camera, jump up, and then just jump over and grab the coconut. And then you want to jump backwards without moving. Like here, I just moved there. That would screw up my timing, so I need to try again. You basically cannot move in any direction other than backwards, and you can't turn around either. It has to be straight like this, because then you need to jump up and then drop it, push it, and then if you did it right, you will glitch into the area and you'll be able to collect the shine sprite without having to wait until episode 8, which would then open up everything into episode 6. And of course I was too close. I was too close there, so I wasn't able to actually perform that, I guess, properly, because it ate the item, or it ate the coconut. So let's go ahead and see if we can try this again. Oh, this is the bane of my existence in speedrunning. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I struggle with trying to get this first try. I don't even know, like, my visual cue, I don't have a visual cue, I just have Mario glitching is basically my visual cue, and I usually get it. There we go. Bingo. There it is, there's GBS for you. It's kind of simple, you know, or looks simple, but can be tricky. Trust me, it took me a while to actually learn the tricks, but once you get it down, honestly, it'll just become second nature to you. Okay, I actually don't think there's anything else to show off, honestly. I thought there would be more, but, oh, there is actually one thing I did want to show off, just for the heck of it. There was a mission in Noki Bay that we did, I'd refused to do the regular way, and I feel like it would be correct of me because of how I, what game was it that I Let's Played, like, a while back that I actually did the intended, like, went back and did the intended way in the bonus video. I actually don't remember. Oh wait, yeah, it was, Skyward Sword. When I did Skyward Sword, I showed off the basement skip, and, yeah, I showed off the basement skip, and then in the bonus video, I showed how you're actually supposed to go through the basement. So that was, you know, this is basically kind of similar to that, because I feel like if people actually want to see how you're intended to go through here, I might as well oblige. But basically what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go through these maze-like areas, making our way all the way through, and then once we do, we just kind of follow this path upward, and once we make it up there, we will have a third encounter with Duper Blooper that we did not have before. Mainly because I did not want to fight him a third time. But, you know, obviously you beat him the same exact way as you would any other time you're facing him. His attacks don't change, literally it's only the location, like nothing else changes. But after he's defeated, you can just drop down here, and you can collect the Shine Sprite. But with that, I think that's everything. Actually, wait, there's one more glitch I want to show. One more. Just one more. I'm just thinking about it because it's really funny and really cool. And it's funny that I need to show this because, like, it'll have been shown in Sunshine Versus, but, yeah, I want to show it. So, basically what you do, come up here, use the rocket nozzle. You basically want to try to line yourself up to this corner here, and you want to use the rocket nozzle to blast yourself up, and then dive out of the area. I guess if that makes sense. Basically, you want to dive out of the raccoon's hut, because basically what that will do is, so the way Mario Sunshine works and how it does areas indoors is that it takes the inside and spawns it up above where it's at. And in order to render all of that, they technically still have all of the Delfino Plaza rendered, but they have to, you know, take out all of the renders for, you know, the buildings and stuff. And so basically it's looking like we're walking on it, you know, like walking basically on invisible stuff. It's basically why you can look here. Technically speaking, we should be able to see the M, but we don't, because technically there is still collision there. There's still something there. It's a neat little trick, honestly, and I think it's cool just to see, like, how things look when everything is just invisible. I think it's, like, one of the coolest tricks ever. And I wish more games had something like this, but yeah, can't really do much else with it. Let's go ahead and talk to Toadsworth. Oh, I do hope nothing bad happens to our dear princess. Master Mario, please help her. Actually, I think he already said that when we were in the flood. But with that, that is officially everything I wanted to show off in Mario Sunshine. So, it's officially time to head to our last game in the trilogy, or in the collection, I guess, with Super Mario Galaxy. Okay, so there is a few things that we can show off, mainly just two, because there isn't really much else outside of what I've already shown off. The interesting thing about Galaxy is that, you know, Galaxy literally had everything shown off because I did basically a second playthrough, where I showed off all the major skips and everything. So, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and go over the major one, which is this over here. Mama's Library. So this is Rosalina's library. Something that we actually unlocked, like, basically a long time ago in the adventure. But I never showed it off, because I was saving it for the bonus video, simply due to the fact that, you know, I felt like it deserved its own spot and not really, like, its own episode, if that makes sense. I didn't want to, like, put it in the middle of the series, because I felt like it was something that would be nice to do at the end of the story. Or I guess the end of the series. So, let's go ahead and head into the story, or I guess head into the library, and see what it's got for us. And I chose to have Mario for it just because this is his adventure. You know, it just feels right to have him, you know, be the one to see it.
Ooh.
Let us begin. Chapter 1, The Celestial Duo. Our story begins a very, very long time ago with a young girl. One day, this girl spotted a rusted spaceship holding a small star child. "What's your name? Are you lost?" the girl asked the star child. "I'm Luma, and I'm waiting for Mama. She's coming for me on a comet," said the star child, who had been waiting day and night. "Don't worry, I'll wait with you," the little girl promised Luma. At nightfall, the little girl borrowed her father's telescope and peered into the sky. She looked and looked, but she saw nothing. Hours turned into days, and then years, but still the sky revealed nothing. Finally, the little girl sighed and said to Luma, "If we stay here looking much longer, I'll be an old lady soon." But then she had an idea. "Why don't we just go out there and find your mother ourselves?" The girl and Luma fixed up the rusty spaceship, and then the two set sail into the starry sky. And this is how the search for the Celestial Mother began. Chapter 2, Starbits. Days passed with no sight of the comet, or even a single planet. Instead, asteroids extended for as far as the eye could see. "If I had known it was going to take this long, I would have packed more jam," said the little girl above the rumble of her belly. Before they left, she had packed all the essentials: telescope, butterfly net, stuffed bunny, bread, milk, jam, and apricot-flavored tea. But "I forgot to bring water." At this, Luma burst into gales of laughter, and then the girl began to pout. "As long as I have Starbits, I'll be fine," said Luma. "Want some?" The little girl couldn't stay mad after hearing this. Luma continued to laugh, and the girl couldn't help but join in. Alright, maybe a nibble. Leaning far out of the ship, the pair began to collect starbits with the girl's net. They almost fell out a few times, but they kept on collecting. The starbits tasted like honey. Chapter 3: The Comet. A beam of light pierced through the ship's window. Thinking it was the morning sun, the girl peered through the window, only to find a turquoise-blue comet shimmering at her. The little girl shook the sleeping Luma awake and shouted excitedly, "We have to get to that comet!" The pair descended on the comet and found that it was made of ice. They looked high and low, but Luma's mother was nowhere to be found. Exhausted, the little girl sat down with a flop, utterly unable to take another step. Look! Peering down at the icy ground where Luma was pointing, the girl suddenly noticed clusters of starbits encased in the ice. Pretty good, huh? Finding starbits is my specialty, said Luma, beaming. There's ice here, but it's so warm, I bet there's water here too. The two decided to stay on the comet for a while. Riding the turquoise comet, the pair continued their search for Luma's mother. Chapter 4: The Dream. One night, the girl dreamed about her own mother. "Where are you going?" she asked her mother's retreating back. Without turning, her mother replied, "Don't fret, dearest. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always watching over you, like the sun in the day and the moon in the night." A wave of sadness washed over the girl. What about when it rains and I can't see the sun or the moon? Her mother thought for a moment before responding. I will turn into a star in the clouds and wait for your tears to dry. When she awoke, the girl's face was damp with tears. You have starbits in your eyes, said Luma to the girl. Wiping her face, the girl replied, These are tears, not starbits. I'm crying because I'll never see my mother ever again. At this, Luma began to cry too. Mama, oh mama, wow. The pair traveled through the starry skies, and though they encountered many other comets, not one of them held Luma's mother. Luma was despondent. Now, Luma, the rain clouds won't go away if you keep crying, the girl said, giving Luma a squeeze. I'll give you a present if you stop. The girl closed her eyes and said gently, I'll take care of you. With these words, she felt a small spark in her heart. Chapter 5: Home. The kitchen will go here, and the library will go over there, the girl said bustily to herself. She will put the gate here. Ever since the girl took Luma under her care, she'd been bustling about at a feverish pace. It's a lot of work, but it'll be worth it to make a happy home. It turned out that the starbits weren't the only thing buried in the ice. There were tools and furniture unlike any they had ever seen, and the girl used them to build a home. Looking at the completed house, Luma remarked, Don't you think it's awfully big for just the two of us? With a library, bedroom, kitchen, fountain, and gate, it was certainly spacious, but still something seemed to be missing. If only my father, brother, and Mother were here, the girl said wistfully. Indeed, the house was too large for its two small residents. That night, clutching to her favorite stuffed bunny close to her heart, the girl fell asleep in the starship. Chapter 6. Friends. Then one day, while the girl sat sipping tea, a tiny apricot-colored planet appeared on the horizon. From the planet, another Luma of the same color emerged. Do you two know each other? The girl asked the two Lumas gleefully. Despite the girl's excitement, they seemed uneasy. The two Lumas neither drew closer nor backed away from each other. Instead, they just stared. Then one Luma broke the silence. My mama! At once, the apricot Luma parroted back. My mama, my mama! My mama, my mama! The two Lumas began to dance around the girl frantically, and neither showed any sign of stopping. The girl was so charmed by this adorable scene that she couldn't help but laugh, and that's when something very strange happened. Suddenly, more Lumas began to pop out from the apricot planet. They were different colors, but they all shouted the same thing. My mama, my mama! The sight of all the shouting Lumas only made the girl laugh harder. What am I going to do with all these children? The Lumas just stared blankly as she doubled over laughing. I guess we'll have to name each and every one of you. Tomorrow, once she had finished naming them all, she would begin moving all the Lumas into the new house. Chapter 7. The Telescope. After seeing their 100th comet, a sudden thought popped into the girl's head. I wonder if my home planet is still as blue as it was. That's when she remembered her father's telescope. Peeking into the telescope, a tiny blue dot floated into sight. It was smaller than a star bit. How strange, it's so far away, but it feels so close. She twisted the knob of the telescope, and the blue dot grew until she could make out a grassy hill dotted with flowers. It seemed very familiar to her. Zooming even closer, a terrace on the hill came into view. I used to go stargazing there when I lived on my home planet. She remembered rubbing the sleep out of her eyes as she followed her father up that hill to look at the stars. She remembered how she and her brother would sled down that hill. She remembered having picnics with her mother on that hill on bright and windy days. And I want to go home. I want to go home right now. The girl burst into tears, and the Lumas didn't know what to do. I want to go home. I want to go back to my house by the hill. I want to see my mother. The girl was shouting now, her face wet with tears. But I know she's not there. I knew all along that she wasn't out there in the sky because she's sleeping under the tree on the hill. The girl's cries echoed through the stars, and a hush fell over the area. Chapter 8. The Wish. Though usually quite cheery, one day the girl became sad again. Luma drew close and tried to comfort her. Mama, you still have me. And don't be sad about your mama, because she's a part of you. That means she's always close by. It's like me. I love starbits because they remind me of my mama. No, the girl said, unable to stop tears. A lonely look flickered across Luma's face, but it was soon replaced by a wide grin. I have an idea. I will transform into a comet, a soaring comet that can carry you all on this journey. With that, Luma trailing bands of white soared high into the sky, and just as quickly started to plummet back down. Kaboom! Kablam! The ground shook, and a bright light poured out of the crater that the Luma had created. The bands of light twisted together to form a comet trail, and then Luma emerged, reborn as a comet. The girl could scarcely believe her eyes. But how? She kept asking. Our destiny as Lumas is to transform into different things, said a red Luma who had suddenly appeared. Stars, comets, planets, we can become all kinds of things. When I grow up, I want to become a star that makes someone special smile, said a green Luma. A blue Luma chimed in. That Luma turned into a real cutie of a comet, didn't he? All of the Lumas together said, No more crying, Mama. Thank you, said the girl in a whisper, and she pulled the Lumas close and hugged them. From that day on, starbits no longer fell from the girl's eyes. The comet set forth for the girl's home planet, its long tail blazing proudly behind it. Final chapter. Family. With its many lumas and telescopes, the comet was quite a sight to behold. The girl and the lumas were proud to call it home. At a welcoming party for a new luma, the girl gathered everyone in the kitchen and said in a louder voice than usual, All right, everyone, let's make a cake sprinkled with star bits. Then it will be a star cake. The Lumas excitedly began to gather the ingredients. As she watched the Lumas scurry about, the girl smiled and thought to herself, This is my family now, and I will stay with them until they're ready to leave the nest. And when they do leave, I'll see them off with a smile, because that's what makes a mother happiest. That night, when the girl laid down to sleep, a soft light enveloped her and reminded her of the blue planet she once called home. But it would be nice to return home once every 100 years to nap in my favorite sleeping nook. The comet carrying the Lumas and the girl continued on its journey to this very day. With more family members in tow than can be counted, it's said that the comet visits the girl's home planet once every 100 years, its proud white tail glittering in the sky. The end. That's all. My story is finished. And even though the Lumas aren't in here, if you wish to read the story again, you can. Also, something to note here is that there are some pictures up here of Rosalina with her Lumas, as well as a few others. Something I want to talk about while we're on this topic of reading that story. I love this story. It is basically the one time I feel like in the Mario series where we get like an actual story to the, to a character, kind of tied to a character. Because this is basically Rosalina's origins. This is how she became the mother of the Lumas, and how she basically became the queen of the cosmos, or I guess princess of the cosmos. And at the same time, there have been plenty of theories about who exactly is, Rosalina's parents. Because a lot of people think it's Luigi and Peach, a lot of people think it's Mario and Peach, but quite honestly, I honestly like to think in the theory of, obviously she has a mother, no, it's not going to be Peach, because Peach, the thing about her mother is that her mother passed away. That's what's insinuated, that she was below the tree, is that she's, you know, passed away. And Peach is still alive, so there's no way that she could be her mother. One of the things I actually like to think about is during that clip when she's talking, or I guess that page when she's talking about her brother and her, you see what looks to be like red and green caps. And part of me wants to actually think that in some way, in a crazy theory, that Rosalina could be related to Mario and Luigi as like siblings. The only trouble with that is that, you know, Peach, or I guess Rosalina, if you look at her compared to like Mario and Luigi, is that she's like basically twice their size. I don't know, that's just my theory, because that picture kind of made it look like red and green caps, which would have been kind of interesting to see them both being related to Mario, like her being related to Mario and Luigi, but that's just my crazy theory. It's a game theory. Anyway, that's it for Galaxy, exception to one last thing. And it involves us going to, actually, you know, we'll just go to the title screen. Because it involves us going back to the Galaxy title screen, and I don't want to save. Because this last thing I want to show actually involves our file select. So, excuse me, also you can see when last I recorded the finale to both, you know, both, Mario Galaxies, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we can actually see, you know, my death count during it. I actually only got 20 deaths during, Mario's portion. I got 65 deaths during Luigi's portion. I think that's mainly due to the fact that I was showing off skips, and if I couldn't get them, they were, you know, I died. But actually, I think I might have also done the, grinding in a place, knowing me. I don't know. But what I want to show off here is that when you unlock Super Luigi Galaxy, if you go into your icons, you actually get Luigi as an icon. This will not be the case in other you know, files. You have to have unlocked Super Luigi Galaxy in order to choose Luigi as your you know, file icon. It cannot be on these other ones. So see, like, say we go here and create a file. Since we have a completed file, we should get that, right? No. It does not give you Luigi unless you have Luigi unlocked. So yeah, kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. But with that, that's it. That's everything I wanted to show off, and that's everything that basically is left to show off in Super Mario 3D All-Stars. This is a fun collection. If you have never played these games, I think that this game, if you can find a copy of it, it's definitely worth picking up. Because you get a collection of all three of some of the best 3D Marios. Sadly, though, we don't get Galaxy 2, which we will all mauled forever of how we don't get Galaxy 2 on Switch, even though we have the other, you know, main 3D Marios. Literally, Galaxy 2 is the last 3D Mario that is yet to be on Switch. We have 3D World, we have Odyssey, we have Galaxy, we have Sunshine, we have 64. Like, it is the last 3D Mario if you're not counting, like, Super Mario 3D Land and 64 DS, but I don't count those. I can count 3D Land, but still, it's just like G2 not being on Switch kind of is just makes no sense. It should have been like a DLC for 3D All-Stars, honestly. But with that, that's it. Definitely pick up this collection. And I guess with that, I'll meet you guys back here for a long-awaited sequel. See you guys then.